All right, guys, why are we standing in my filthy warehouse surrounded by a bunch of construction equipment? Well, there's a pretty easy explanation for that, and that is that I have a very exciting project that is about to drop next Monday, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about it before it does drop. It is a project that is still under construction, hence the perfect setting, all the construction equipment. Okay, so what is this project? Should you be excited about it? I hope so. I hope this will be something that will help many of you out there. I am going to join, the 10 million other podcasts out there, and I am starting a podcast and will be releasing it Monday. This is not a podcast about me. I wish that I could do this thing anonymously, but if I try to do it anonymously, then no one will know about it, and therefore no one will see it, and it will not go towards the goal that I have of helping others and starting a community of people that can rely on each other for struggles in life. Now, what people am I talking about? Who is this podcast for? Well, let's start with the name of the podcast. The name of the podcast is The Terrible Christian Podcast. That seems kind of strange. I understand. This is not a podcast that is bashing Christianity or Christians and how they live their lives. But this is a podcast where we are going to try to drop the veil. We are going to take the masks off. And I don't mean the COVID mask. I mean the metaphorical masks that we wear that show the world, oh, look at our perfect life, when we all know, and those that are outside of our faith know, that we are just putting that mask on and not always being honest with our struggles, with our faults, with our sins, with our downfalls. This podcast is going to be dedicated to having real and open conversations that are going to be interactive, with the audience to an extent. We will have guests, we will have ranging topics, but this podcast is going to be for you. Whether you're a Christian or whether you are simply a non-believer or somewhere kind of in the middle, it's for everyone. It's even for the atheists that, think that us Christians and our beliefs are just silly. This is a reality check on who we are and who we show ourselves to be compared to our actual internal values and beliefs in the Christian faith. So when we're going about our daily lives, we often just are focused on ourselves. We're focused on this world. We're focused on work and how to be successful. We're focused on, how to be a good parent, or, sometimes we're not. But the reality is we are out in the world, and it is often that, if you were to come across anyone, they would have no clue that you're a Christian. I'm not saying we need to wear it on our sleeves, but I'm saying we kind of need to wear it on our sleeves. I say that because I would guarantee that the majority of people that I come in contact in this world, and the majority of people that I work with, even some family members, a lot of you online, old high school friends, all these things, all these people probably would have no clue that I'm a Christian. Now, why is that? Is it because I'm too afraid to let people know, that I'm afraid that people will judge me, that I'm obsessed with the world, I'm, lazy, I don't tend to focus on my relationship with God? Yeah, it's a little bit of all that, and then also more, a lot more. The reality is I do not focus on my faith and my love of Jesus Christ enough to let that light shine through to others. So that is part of this podcast, is washing away that, letting it go, being okay, and actually more than okay, excited, to be a Christian. I would be terrified normally, and even right now, but I don't care anymore. I'm trying to, get rid of that mask. I'm trying to get rid of that metaphorical mask so that you guys can know who I am. But I'm going to say it right now, I love Jesus Christ. He's my Savior. He saved my soul. I am so eternally grateful for what He did and, died on a cross so that I could live and be with God forever. That's, something that we don't say online, right? Every once in a while we'll post that we go to church. Every once in a while we will, like a Christian quote, but very minimal. So why do we do that? It's because we're afraid. It's because, like I said, lots of different reasons. But this podcast is going to be about realness. No longer will we hide in the dark. It's not just about outing ourselves as Christians. It's also looking at all these hard topics that, we struggle with on a daily basis, some people more than others. Whether it is, doubt, that's a big one. Whether it's hypocrisy within the Christian faith, whether it's, addiction, porn, all these things that separate us from God and our walks in our faith are things that we're going to tackle, because what I feel like isn't happening in modern times with Christianity, and even, almost especially, I'm assuming, in the past, people did not air their dirty laundry. But this is silly. This is ridiculous. This is why Jesus set the church up as a community of sisters and brothers in faith in Jesus Christ, so that we can rely upon each other, so that we can walk through this world having an army of believers that will help us get through the struggles, get through the sin, overcome that sin, defeat the things that are bringing us down, get rid of the things that are separating us from Jesus. And that is what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about things that are hard. We're going to enjoy, the great things that happen to us in our lives. But more importantly, we're just going to be open and honest. And that is what is the focus of the Terrible Christian podcast. I'm very excited. I'm also nervous. I do not like speaking on a microphone or talking in front of a camera, but I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and I feel like this is the best avenue. And then it hit really hard for me the other day, actually. I was sitting outside on the front porch, and I was thinking, and my daughter came outside, and she sat next to me, and she said something that was really hard to hear. She said that, I believe her exact quote was, "Daddy, why don't we spend time together anymore?" Yeah, man, that hit hard. It hit real hard. I basically was being a terrible father, and to an extent I still am. I'm so busy these days that I am neglecting time with my daughter. And I got to thinking in that moment that my relationship with my daughter and my duty as a father to raise my daughter to be self-reliant, to be a good person, to love people, and to have integrity and discipline and all these other great attributes. That's my duty as a father, and I'm neglecting those things by not spending the time with her that she deserves and needs. And, that's a hard pill to swallow, but I had to hear that, and I had to, look at what I'm doing and what I'm not doing and how I'm prioritizing life. And I was basically putting my daughter, my family, my wife, and everything kind of on the back burner because it's COVID, year, and we are all struggling with things, and it's more about survival this year. How am I going to get my small business through this year when we've been affected greatly in different avenues of the business. So my focus hasn't been where it needs to be on my family, on my daughter, on my marriage. And, it made me realize that, no matter what, jobs come and go, businesses start and fail, some succeed, and all these things. And, the one job that I cannot be replaced on is being a husband and being a father. I cannot be replaced. No one can take my spot. That is my job, and I am uniquely and only qualified, whereas anyone can take my job here. I could sell this business and, someone could take over and they might do better than me. Who knows? I'm not the only one that can do this, but I am the only one that can be the father to my daughter and the husband to my wife, as I promised to be. So in that moment, probably a few seconds later after my daughter left and I sat there thinking, I looked up to the sky and I just said, God, I am neglecting you. My daughter is, near me and in my life every single day. I get to see her multiple times a day and I'm still neglecting her. Even though God is everywhere and God's all around me, I am neglecting him way more than I'm neglecting even my wife or my kids. And that was kind of painful. That was actually more than painful. That made me go, wow, I need to change my life. And I am opening up and telling you this because I believe that a lot of you may feel this. Like, how often do you think about God? I mean, if you are a person who prays every day, that's great. Is that enough? Are you having that relationship that you need to have? And if not, if you're not where you want to be with your walk with Jesus, then what is separating you? And that's what I ask you. And that's what we're going to talk about here. We will have guests. We will have regular people, regular Christians that are struggling with different things, and we'll go over different topics and hear, their reality and their truth, and let them drop that veil and take off that mask and be real, so that other people don't feel alone, so that we know that someone's out there struggling with the same stuff that we are struggling with. I think that's so powerful. That is why we have each other in this life as Christian brothers and sisters. So yeah, we will have regular people. We will have pastors. We will have authors. We will have therapists. We will go through multiple guests. There won't always be a guest. The podcast or show should run anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 15, depending on the week and who's with us and the topic and, just how much goes. We're just going to be real, and however long that takes is how long it's going to take. So, again, we are starting this podcast starting next Monday. The first episode drops. This is just an introduction to let you guys know it's about to come, and it will be here every Monday. And I'm so excited. I really hope that you guys will join me. Just check it out once. If you don't like it, then, it is what it is. But if you're not a Christian, then absolutely check it out, because I want you to hear, what real Christianity looks like, which is a broken person, a person with flaws, a person with sins that are hard to overcome, just struggles in life, not a perfect facade, but realness and reality, and how, our relationship with Jesus is something that strengthens us and helps us get through these times, and really allows us to be free in the sense that we are not held by this world's standards. We are not held by being successful in this world. It's all about our love and our relationship with Jesus. And that is what, I would love for you guys to see, because I used to be an atheist and kind of had this long journey of going through the different faiths and a lot of questions and all these things. And I eventually came to the realization through a lot of logic and through personal experiences where I felt God's love and God intervening in my life, that I knew that the one path to God is Christianity through Jesus Christ. And so, you know, I've been where you've been. I've been a skeptic. I've been a non-believer. I've been an atheist, an agnostic, you name it. I probably wasn't as much of those things as I thought at the time, but, you know, I believed those things at that time. So this is not a podcast of judgment, even though we will look internally at ourselves and we will talk about, you know, the things that we are doing wrong, whether it's as a Christian or in society. So yeah, it's not so much a judgment as it is a, you know, revealing of truth. And sometimes truth can be hard and seen as judgment, but this podcast is for community. I hope that we can come together. I hope that we can talk. I hope that, you know, this can be a place where you hear something and you go, yeah, I struggled with that. And then, you know what we're going to do every single week is we're going to try and apply at least one simple real life application of how to kind of combat some of these things that we struggle with as terrible Christians. That way, you know, we can start to try and chip away at the things that are separating us from our walk and our relationship with God. So we'll do some practical stuff too, but more importantly, it's just about loving one another. It's about honesty. It's about opening up and revealing the pain, the joy, the struggles, the faults, the sins, the, you know, shortcomings, whether it's in your marriage as a father or, you know, whatever it is, we are going to try and talk about it, and we're going to talk a lot about it. And I really hope that you guys join me next Monday. You can find the podcast at all your major streaming areas where you normally find your podcast, whether it's Apple, iTunes, Spotify, the list goes on. There's multiple, I know. I don't know them all. Also, check out the YouTube page. We will be uploading the video of each podcast on Mondays as well. So if you like that way rather than just listening, you can also check that out. And then we'll just kind of build this together. But I'm very excited. I hope that you guys join me next Monday for the Terrible Christian Podcast.